Hi everyone, Bailey, Valerie, Olive, Athena, Hendrix. You know, you have lots of things around the house that make sounds. Now, there are some sounds that we like, musical notes. There are sounds that we don't like. Those are called noise. Well, we're going to try a little bit of both today. First, we need to know a few things about how sounds are produced. This is a little bit tough to understand unless you know what a vibration is. A vibration occurs when something moves back and forth very, very rapidly. You can make your lips vibrate by going or they both make sound, don't they? You can blow air through a tube and it'll make sound. Okay? Now you might have noticed those sounds are different in pitch. Some sounds are higher and some sounds are lower. Now, some sounds can be produced without even trying. For example, blow up a balloon. Hear that? Listen. Did you hear the grandfather clock? I guess we should call it Grampy clock. Did you hear it making sound? That's because inside that clock, there are bells. Now, they don't look like bells that you see in a church steeple. They're just metal rods sticking down. But when something hits them, they vibrate. And the vibration gets transferred to that wooden clock, and the whole thing vibrates. And since the different bells are of different sizes, some of them vibrate more rapidly than others. Now, how rapidly they vibrate is called frequency. The number of vibrations per second is called frequency. And the vibrations that produce sound, several vibrations per second. So you don't actually get to see it, but you do get to hear it. Now, you can use sounds to annoy your parents. Remember we talked about noise? Here's some noise they might not like. I'm going to blow up the balloon. But instead of letting the sound out the usual way, oh, listen. Vibration. Not all that pretty, is it? Sounds like someone's in pain, and it doesn't. But what's happening is that the air coming out through this part of the balloon, that's called the neck, okay, just like this, makes the rubber in the balloon vibrate, and that vibration produces sound. Now, if I don't squeeze it like that, and just let the air out, now that's the, sound. I can't get my lips to do it, okay? Now, musical instruments produce the kinds of sounds that we want. Now, some of them work with wind, like these, wind instruments. You blow air into a mouthpiece on a trumpet or a trombone, or over a reed on a clarinet or a saxophone, and it vibrates. And then the vibration is transferred to, well, it depends on the instrument, doesn't it? Okay? The trumpet, the brass of the instrument, okay? The clarinet, believe it or not, made of wood. So some sounds are produced by musical instruments by vibrating a reed, okay? Now, clarinets and trumpets are wind instruments. Now, there are also stringed instruments, violins, cellos, okay? Now, those, if you pull on a string and let it go, twang, or, for example, in a violin, if you pull a bow across, the strings vibrate. The vibration gets transferred to the wooden box on the violin, and it produces sound. And finally, there are percussion instruments. These are instruments that vibrate when you hit them, like drums. Now, they don't produce a real musical note, but bells, like the bells in the clock. When you strike them, when you hit them, they vibrate and produce sounds. That's how xylophones work. Okay, you might have a xylophone around the house somewhere. The bells in a church tower, that's how they work. You hit them, and they vibrate. So, what's it all mean? Sounds are produced by vibrating objects. Even the human voice. You have vocal cords in here. They're like strings. And when air passes over them, and you can't hold your breath and talk, right? But when air passes over those vocal cords, they vibrate, and that's what produces sound. Okay. Just enough sound for me to say, goodbye, everybody.